want to reiterate the beauty of kids, and I'm not sure if you're a parent, but it's like they don't follow the same narrative logic as parents. And that's one of the things that's brilliant about them.
Today to be speaking with Edmund Stenson, one of the co-director of Link. Edmund, thank you so much for the time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you and to talk about the film.
Uh, Honestly, the film is wonderful. It is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. How did you come to be involved with them? How did you get associated with Edith and Sebastian?
Thank you for your kind words. Actually, my co-director and I were approached by Amit Day, a fellow Canadian at MRC. Essentially, an American company came in and optioned the rights to the family story, and they came to our team. That's Fishbowl Films. That's me, Daniel, and the wonderful producers Mel Miller and Diane Becker, and said, "Guys, would you like to make a film where you travel the world and get to learn and experience it with these four kids and these parents?" And for me and Daniel, the answer was absolutely yes, immediately. Where do we sign up? So that's how we started the process. But we didn't start filming with them until about, I want to say, 6 months into their journey.
I was wondering about that. So you weren't with them, or were you with them on the journey, or was this their footage that you compiled? How did that work?
So I would say 80 to 90% of what you see in the film is our footage shot by our incredible DOP. But we would fill in gaps occasionally with their footage. But what happened is we were with them for all of the locations you see in the film, but we had to make a very concerted effort to pick locations and activities they were going to do that would serve some broader emotional or narrative purpose in the film. As you know, with documentary, you never really know what's going to happen. So these were very broad stroke ideas that we had, but we tried as best we could to pick very representative locations that could do a lot for us, both visually and thematically.
Wow. Okay, because I mean, this is a stunning film,
Mm.
visually, but just emotionally as well. And they're incredible people.
Mm.
What was the first thing that struck you about Edith and Sebastian as you got to know them?
I mean, having lived in Quebec and lived in Montreal for many years, there's something very, how do I put this? There's a resilience and an emotional fortitude with them that really struck me. And I think there's an easiness with which there's a lack of a performative aspect with it, Steve, I'd say, that struck me, that there was a kind of blaseness. And I think partly that comes from having four children, and they speak to this in the film. It's like you kind of have to give up everything when you have four kids. But I think to me, it was the honesty with which they approach things and the fact that, you worry with something like this that, oh, they're a family putting on this good front because they're going through this difficult, and it's all Instagram and this and that. And then you meet them and you're like, no, they really are like this. They really are this pretty emotionally intuitive and close family. That doesn't mean there aren't problems, but they're a really strong family, and family values comes through the whole time.
And one of the things I love about this film too is it's not only you don't only show them at their best. Sometimes you show them while they're struggling,
Mm,
and it makes them human.
mm.
They're parents just like the rest of us. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to share it because they are just genuine people. We had a chance to chat with them, just wonderful people.
Mm.
But they're going through this challenge in real time as well. So to be on that journey for you, watching this must have been quite a ride in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments on the film I think of, particularly that interview moment where we ask Colin if he's scared about the future, and he says, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll get a guide cat." And there were moments like that on the film where I can remember the air being pulled out of the room. We were shooting that interview in Lauren and Colin's actual grotto under the stairs. There was absolutely no room. There was about four of us inside the grotto. And I remember hearing that response and all of the crew members tearing up and basically crying whilst filming. And it was a film filled with those moments that made you grateful for the life you lead, but also so inspired by these children and by the parents. And I think that's the thing that I carry in my heart as I make this, is that the ways in which those kids and have kind of shaped my attitude towards the future.
I wondered that because I
Mm,
mean, this has got to affect you on a personal level as well.
mm,
These kids are remarkable. They're remarkable children, and it's interesting because at the end of the film, I'm not sure which one you speak to, but one of the kids is asked how they've changed, and they don't know.
mm.
Uh, so I was wondering from you, having been along this thing, what did you see in them along the way, and how did they grow?
Yeah, I think I guess I'll answer in two parts. I would like to say that what I really appreciate as a filmmaker about that interview is that we wanted to do something that was a little bit mocking of ourselves in that moment. And I hope that came across that we often want kids to be this, as adults, we want kids to be this versions of themselves that we think children are. And that's how childhood should be. And we tried our best in that moment to give the authority back to the kids, you know? And I think we tried to mimic that in the way we filmed and the way we made the camera feel like another child. But in terms of what I felt they learned, one of the most touching things happened after we had our premiere screening at Telluride. Leo came up to us after the film, kind of, and looked up at me and JS, the cinematographer, and said, "For the first time, I feel like I understand a bit better my sibling's condition, like seeing the film like that." And that was yeah, that was a really touching moment for us, you know, to hear this moment of emotional candidness from Leo. And I think you saw that in little moments in the film. But I think more than anything, Steve, I just want to reiterate the beauty of kids, and I'm not sure if you're a parent, but it's like they don't follow the same narrative logic as parents. And that's one of the things that's brilliant about them is that they're not going to give you the answers they want. They're not going to say the right thing. And I think it's that unpredictability and brilliance of children that was the thing that most struck me, that Laurent is going to say something philosophical out of nowhere. And to me, that's what, I don't know if it fully answers your question, but that's what I appreciated most about them is how much they caught me off guard and challenged my idea of what a child should be like.
Yeah, I actually I do have two kids. I have two boys of my own, and there's something so pure about them, especially at the age that they are in this film, where
Right.
it's just like I'm just gonna, this is what I'm feeling, and I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know,
If we're good or
talking
for
with
bad,
Edith,
as you know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's true. And talking with Edith and Sebastian, it's like they just said, well, they're just living in the moment,
Mm, mm,
and it's like this is it's amazing to see this play out.
mm,
Um, and I wondered if this is something you felt, because watching these kids learn as they go, if you will,
mm,
go around the world, see these
mm.
amazing things. I was wondering as a filmmaker if an experience like this puts it into perspective of how much we miss around us because of our adult narratives. And do you think
Mm,
we miss too much?
mm. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think I want to say firstly that being on these trips with this family, part of the wonder you see is truly the wonder that me, Daniel, and Jean Sebastien, the cinematographer, felt as we were climbing a mountain in Nepal or spending time in the Amazon. These were things that we were doing for the first time. And so some
Yeah.
of that emotional honesty is truly because I was climbing a mountain, doing the thing I dreamed of doing, making a film with this incredible family. And the moment that sticks out to me the most is waking up one morning early in Egypt, looking around at the white desert, which for me is the most beautiful place I may have ever seen. And I remember thinking, I I remember just feeling very, very happy and very excited at the future that lay ahead for these children and for the film that we were building. And I don't know if, again, I don't know if I'm fully answering your question, but I do think that the film was deeply emotionally moving for me because of how much I kind of ended up embodying that kid's experience of wonder and joy as I made the film. Like, yeah.
You can feel that as a viewer, you really can. And honestly, it is such an incredible piece. It is honest, it is loving, it is beautiful. I know we're out of time. Thank you, Edmund, so much for your time, and I wish you the best because it is truly remarkable.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope you can tell all your friends and family to come see it at the cinema together. That's where with it. That's
Yeah,
where everyone wants to see it. All right. Thank
Absolutely,
you.
it needs to be seen. It needs to be seen on the big screen. It's too cinematic. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Have a great day.